a shot at securing the House majority. Joining us now, MSNBC political contributor and co-founder of Punchbowl News, Jake Sherman. Also back with me, Brendan Buck and Matthew Dowd. And Jake, you say that this is one of the biggest issues out there that might be flying somewhat under the radar. Why is that?
Well, we're now having a situation where across the country, both parties are trying to pick their voters instead of voters picking the candidates, and are doing so midstream. As Governor Hochul mentioned, this is usually done once every 10 years. It's now being done midstream because Republicans want to pick up 5 seats in Texas, and then Gavin Newsom wants to try to counteract that in California. Unfortunately, in New York, they are not going to be able to, according to their Constitution and various other statutory limitations, they're not going to be able to get this done for 2026. They may be able to get it done for 2028, but Republicans here are in the driver's seat. They have an incredible ability to redraw in the state of Texas, in Missouri, perhaps in Indiana, although that's a little bit less likely, to redraw in these Republican states with Republican governors to cushion the losses that they might experience otherwise in this midterm election.
Brendan, Trump is eager to push these states because we know that his future success relies on holding the majority, right?
Yeah, for sure. Look, Donald Trump understands what it's like to live under Democratic control of Congress, and he's been pretty clear that he wants to do anything he can to hold on. Now, this is not a strategy without risk. By the very nature of putting more seats in play, you are weakening some of your Republican seats. And so if they have a particularly bad night, it's possible that this could backfire. But certainly I think they probably know what they're doing a little bit here. But I also want to just point out, look, Republicans are doing it now. Everybody does this at this point. Every state tries to maximize what they can. I don't think this is actually what's going to swing the House. I think the Democrats have a lot of momentum and a lot of energy behind them. Republicans are probably, like Jake said, maybe cushioning their losses. I do expect that Democrats are still going to take back the House.
Matthew, what do you think?
Well, here's what I think. I mean, I think this obviously is good partisan politics to do this, but it's horrible for governance. Because I think if you asked anybody what's the best way to do this is probably an independent commission like Michigan does, where a group of citizens actually do it, and then it has a whole bunch of swing seats. What this does, if New York was to do it, which I agree with Jake is probably unlikely, but if California does it, and Illinois does it, Ohio does it, Texas does it, it creates a bunch of safe seats where the general election begins to not even matter less than this. To me, I understand why the Democrats are doing this, because it's a little bit like sign stealing in baseball. If Major League Baseball sort of didn't come down on sign stealing, and some teams sign stealed and other teams said, well, we're going to maintain the way that the game should be played, which is better for the game, they're going to be at an incredible disadvantage in this. So the only solution to this, in my view, is you have to have some national sort of policy on redistricting, because if you don't have independent redistricting across the country, then anybody that does it puts themselves at a disadvantage in these elections.
Jake, Brendan just talked about how Democrats may have some momentum, a lot to be bullish about in these days. Is that coming through, though, on the Hill?
Yes, I think that is. I mean, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, keeps he's saying outright that Republicans are not only going to keep their majority, they're going to expand their majority. That would fly in the face of historical precedent and historical norms, that the party in power keeps their majority after the first 2 years of a president's term. I think it's exceedingly unlikely, especially with the tiny majority that Republicans have. I will say this, though. In a scenario where these majorities are decided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats, if Republicans can create 5 new Republican seats in the state of Texas, that does make a big difference. It could make a huge difference. You pick up a seat in Missouri, that makes a difference. And in California, I will say, I know Newsom is very bullish on his chances of turning a bunch of red seats blue. I think he has a steeper hill to climb. So Republicans really do have the inside track here, because in Democratic states like New Jersey, like Illinois, there's just a lot more hurdles for Democrats to clear to get those mid-decade redistrictings done.